What is up, everyone? Good morning, happy Tuesday, and welcome to the Deal Lab. I'm your host, Max Jimenez. And listen, you know what we do here, right? Real calls, real calls, real deals for real closers. I'm gonna let a few people jump on. I know we at Tuesdays usually we get some people that trickle in as soon as the show is started. But welcome to the Deal Lab, where again we talk to sellers, negotiate. You guys get to see my process. You guys get to see everything real, raw, and live, right? Looking to have a great show today. Got a few follow-ups, got some things I gotta do. So you guys are gonna experience all that. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Drop it in the chat, where you're tuning in from, where you're where you're watching from, and also how was your day yesterday? How was Monday as far as prospecting, as far as talking to the sellers, and so yesterday was an interesting day, right? With calls, you guys, for those of you that stayed on, I had two interesting calls. Two sellers with the same name. What are the odds of that, right? Two sellers with the same name. We had really good conversation. Obviously, one of them, we ended up sending out the agreement. So, if you didn't get to catch that one, that one was an interesting call because, the seller he was a little bit hard to talk to, right? Like old school, but hey, that's what we do, right? Not all sellers are going to be easy sellers to talk to, right? They're going to be difficult ones. There's going to be easy ones. There's going to be some that that you're going to have to work a little harder to get. There's some sellers that you're going to have to work a little harder to get to. Our dials were a little bit on the low end. I looked at our dials yesterday. We were at 31, but we did have quite a bit of conversations, and then obviously it led to an offer or a few offers, and then also it led to what I want to say, an agreement send out. So I am just waiting for that. We have nothing scheduled today in regards to a callback, or wait, actually we do. So there's one appointment scheduled today. That's going to be, that looks like it's going to be after the show. So this appointment scheduled for 2:30. it looks like. So so basically it's scheduled for 2:30 p.m. my time, which means that um it'll most likely be after the show, right? So, but for those of you tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. I know we had a few people that were on yesterday. I'm really grateful for that. That we had some people on yesterday, and so with that being said, let's see here. Let me look to see if we got any comments in the chat right now. Okay, so no comments in the chat. All good. Okay. So as some of you some of you the guys that are jumping on, I will talk a little bit about yesterday, right? I want to talk a little bit about yesterday, how the day went. But I'm gonna let a few more people jump on here. We're having a few people jump on. It looks like I'm having some issues with internet for some reason. So I don't know if you guys can see it on your end. Jennifer, am I coming through okay? For some reason, it looks like it. I had a message right now saying that my internet has just been stabilized. I don't know if I'm having issues, if I'm coming through okay. Jennifer, you're on. We got a few other people on. Am I coming through okay? Because I just got a message. Okay, perfect. Jennifer says yes. All right. Jennifer says she's calling from California, right? Jennifer from California. Thank you for confirming that I'm coming through. For some, it was really weird. It said your internet was restored. I don't know if it was just the so weird. Anyways, let me close this back window. So as you guys are jumping on, drop your name, drop your where you're tuning in from. So yesterday, let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday was an interesting day. We're still working on. Remember, we just started this, right? We're still working on building, right? Building the pipeline, building the appointments. So remember, this doesn't happen overnight. You got to be patient with yourself. The only thing that you can't do, because what tends to happen, and this happens to a lot of us, right? It's happened to me. It might be happening to you right now. I don't know. We tend to get a little anxious, right? When we're building up. We tend to get a little anxious when we're working towards filling up the pipeline with quality prospects, right? And look, the lead source matters a lot. I'm not going to sit here and say that it doesn't. The lead source matters a lot. So if you're just calling outbound leads, right? These are leads that basically that they're cold call leads, or that you're cold calling yourself, or a company's doing it for you and they're sending the leads in for you to follow up with, compared to like PPC or PPL. Like, the lead quality does tend to either increase how fast you go, or tends to push you back a little bit, because you have to go through more leads, right? So one of the things that you can't do, because we tend to do this, right, if we're not seeing results right away, we tend to get a little anxious, or we get frustrated. This is why it's so important to have have a plan that's motivating you, have some type of structure that you can follow. Because like I said, like I've been saying, I said this last week on a few of the lives, is that this you can get frustrated pretty quick, right? If you don't have a plan, if you don't have goals, if you don't hold yourself accountable in some way, especially if you're on your own, especially if you're doing this on your own. Like, that's where you have to be careful with, right? So again, this to build consistency, right? To build a pipeline where it consistently provides deal flow to you takes some time, right? And like I said, depending on the lead type, that time can be shortened depending on the the quality of the lead, right? And so, as you go, this is why it's so important to understand, like, if you just have your leads in a what I want to say, like in a sort of this just on a list, and you have no way of organizing them, that's going to be a lot more frustrating, right? And so what happens is that, here, I'm going to show you guys this, because I think it's important. But I'm going to try to not show you guys the names or anything, because let's see. because you know how it is, man. You start showing names and you start showing, addresses. People tend to get real funny. That makes sense. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to show you guys the pipeline. It's nothing different than what the actual video that I came out with, how to manage your pipeline. But the reason I want to show you this, because what I'm saying is that if you just work your leads on a list and you have no linear way, like there's no process, right? A linear process to follow, and you just have this list of leads, and then you look at it and it's like, you're like, man, what, like, this sucks. Like, now I got to go through and look, right? Compared to having, now you got to create different workspaces. That's a little different, but I'm going to show you guys. Let's see. Okay, here it is. So as you can see here, you're not seeing any addresses because I filtered it out. Okay. You're not going to see any names, but this right here is getting full, right? People that I'm attempting to contact. Appointments booked. Also, I have like 5 in here right now. You're not seeing anything right now because I filtered it out. You got the no shows, right? These are people that say, "Hey, call me," and then they give you a time and day, and they don't they don't show up. And then here's the hot lead due diligence. So a hot lead, we already talked about what that is. So I'm not going to get into that. Due diligence, offer stage. So this could be, hey, we made a verbal offer. Hey, hey, no, we made a verbal offer, hasn't been accepted yet, or they went with their offer, or agreement is out. Like right now, Willie is in this stage right here. He's in offer stage. The written offer went out. Once he signs it, he's going to get moved over contract. And then these are the ready soon, right? 30 to 90 days. And then long term 90 plus. And then you got your nurture. And then you got your not interested. Now, this is what I was talking, how I started the show talking about this. This is very important because when you start your call session, or when you start your time block, right, of calling, and you come into your systems, right, and you look at this, and if you have like, let's say it's on a list, and you don't have this, right, for the most part, right, maybe some of you can't do this, but you can create tags, or you can create labels. There's a lot of CRMs that allow you to create tags and labels. So the better you get at creating tags and labels, if you can create these stages inside of your pipeline, then I would highly recommend doing that. Because now you can come in here and you can click where it says advanced filter, right? You can click where it says advanced filter, and then start filtering out the leads, right? So, and not only that, I also have tags. So I have these stages, right? And I also have tags. So leads that are inside of attempted contact have tags that say first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, fourth attempt. So when I do my prospecting, and I am and I'm talking, getting ready to talk to sellers. Well, what I want to do is I'm going to start off with the people that I've only made 1 attempt so far, or 2 attempts. So then I filter it and I focus in on those, right? If I can't get a hold of those, then I'm going to call the people that have gotten 3 to 5 attempts, right? So, and so on and so on and so on. And then also, while I'm doing that, new leads are coming in. I have my appointments booked. So let's just say that I have an appointment today at 2:30. Well, I'm going to go through my pipeline of attempted contacts. I'm going to first reach out to the ones that I've only attempted to contact once or twice, because they're pretty much new leads, until my appointment time. Then I'm going to move over and go to the appointment. And then whatever happens from there, it starts to move linear, right? It starts to move over. If whether it becomes a hot lead, a due diligence, or we made a verbal offer, put them in the offer stage. So again, this is the power of staying consistent, right? Not consistency doesn't mean you're going to consistently be on the phones. That's part of it, but most people, that's how they teach, right? Be consistent on the phones. Like, okay, well, I get it, but how do we become where we can have predictability, right? How do we get to a point where we can where we have something like something we can work off of. And so this is the most important piece. I'm going to tell you guys right now. Wait, I don't know what happened here. There we go. So this is the most important piece, by the way. So you have there's 3 phases, right, of a marketing and sales business, because that's what wholesaling is, by the way. It's not real estate investing. So you have 3 pieces of a marketing and sales business. Okay. You have lead generation, right? That's your get sellers, your cold call, your door knocking, you're generating opportunities, right? The second phase is lead management, right? That's where your CRM, your drips, your stages, your tags, your labels, so on and so on. And then you have the closing stage, right? This is your conversations, this is your discovery stage, your qualification, negotiations, and all this. So you have these 3 stages, right? Or these 3 phases of a marketing and sales business. The issue, not, well, I wouldn't say issue, but the biggest one out of all of them, I didn't say the most important, but the one where you're most likely going to live in the most. If you do marketing, if your marketing, if your lead generation is taken care of, you really don't have to worry about that, right? Because somebody else is doing that for you. And to be honest with you, for those of you that are still cold calling, at some point you need to make a goal to get out of that phase. I'm telling you right now. You need to get out of that phase in order for you to be successful in these other 2 phases. That makes sense? Because you cannot do all 3 at a high level. You can do all 3, but not at a high level, right? You can't be the lead gen guy and also the high performing closer. And you can't be the high performing closer and also be the follow-up specialist, a high level lead manager, right? One of those 3 stages is going to suffer no matter what. Like, it's going to happen. So you need to make it a goal at some point. The first thing that should go is the lead generation, right? The lead, the opportunity, creation of an opportunity. You got to make it a goal. Maybe some of you can't do it now, but you need to make it a goal in order for you to be in these other 2 categories again at a high level. Because the thing that we're focusing on here is, how do we move from just being an average, right? An average wholesaler, an average acquisition, an average, salesperson, start to move into a more higher level, consistent. Well, you need this first, right? You need to have that, right? Because right now you're doing everything, and you need to be able to manage your pipeline at a very high level, right? Because if not, leads are going to drop through the cracks. You're not going to be able to, figure out who's who. And again, if you can't create these stages the stages that I have here, what's going to happen is that if you can't if your CRM doesn't allow you to create these stages, that you can create tags and labels, and then create more tags and labels for each individual stage, right? Because these are stages of where the lead is. Okay. So again, and here's the thing, right? So we got these 3 phases. We got lead generation, we got lead management, and then we got the closing phase, right? We have these 3 phases: lead generation, lead management, and lead conversion, right? If you want to use the official term. So lead generation, write that down. Lead conversion, lead generation, lead management, and lead conversion. You cannot look at me. You cannot do all 3 at a high level. You absolutely can't. I've never done it. I can tell you I'm the worst at it, right? Can you do it on your own? Can you do all 3 phases on your own? Yes. And I'm going to tell you how, right? By having the systems, right? Right? But can you do it on your own? Yeah. But can you do it at a high level? No. That's the difference, right? Follow me here really quick. I don't want to lose, because I've been saying you can't do it at a high level, but you can do it. you got to have the right systems, you got to have the right processes, right? And then eventually you need to add a personnel. I didn't say add a whole team. There's no reason to have a big team. So my suggestion to you guys is the first thing that you should be doing and building a goal towards is getting rid of the lead generation part. We're in 2025 now, guys. Like, there is no reason that you should be generating opportunities with so many options out there, right? And I'm not trying to pitch you get sellers, guys. Like, you guys, that's not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to get you to do is move into these other phases so you can just focus on managing your pipeline at a high level. And so you can just focus on lead conversion at an even higher level. Because now you don't have to worry about lead gen, right? Now you don't have to worry about creating opportunities. Let somebody else do that for you, okay? And then eventually, if you decide to grow, the next phase that should be, right, that should be kind of let go or delegate it is your lead management, right? Now, I'm not saying that you got to give that up. That should be completely, but I'm talking about going back to this. I'm talking about getting somebody to live in your nurture stage, your long-term stage, potentially in your attempted contact stage, so they can book appointments for you, so they can generate opportunities for you, right? And now this is a phase that you want to delegate once you get to a point where you just have way too many leads, right? So what tends to happen is that we get into this vicious cycle of lead generation, lead management, lead conversion, lead generation, lead management, lead conversion, lead generation, lead management, lead conversion. And guess what? You can't, all three of them are going to suffer, right? Because you're trying to close deals and have high level conversations and high level calls. Now you got to go back and you got to generate more opportunities, and then you got to manage those opportunities, and you got to make sure that you're following up and nothing's falling through the cracks. Now you got to go back to think about that's the craziness that's happening. I'm painting a picture here for you guys. I highly, highly, highly encourage you that if you want to get to a high level, the first thing that you got to delegate is the lead generation, the opportunity, right? Creating opportunities. And so I want to encourage you today that you need to do that. Now, you can soften some of these blows up a little bit by having the right systems, having the right processes, but you still are not going to do it at a high level, right? So here's what I say. So this is why I say this, is because this is the only way you're going to be able to get excited about what you do, right? And when I mean excited, I'm talking about you wake up and you have a plan, right? You already have your goals, right? You have a plan, you have your goals, and now you have a structure to be able to hit those goals, right? And you have a structure, which is basically, right, your management, right? Your lead management structure, and get a hold of the leads and talk to the leads and put them in buckets depending on the results of the conversation. And then someone else is just generating more opportunities for you. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit because, I think, because listen, I've done these calls in the past and my lead management structure has not always been the best, right? And when I started to change and do this, right? When I started to change and do this, and this is why it's important to have a good system. And if you guys haven't watched that video, go watch that video. I break it down exactly to a T why I created these stages, right? And they work really well. So any questions on that? Because I know some of you are newer in here. Maybe some of you are working for, are working for an operation, but let's see, Perry, what's going on, Perry? How you doing, brother? Thank you for being on. It says, is it the same with follow-up? I've noticed a struggle in follow-up when I switch to a higher quality lead gen. Okay, let me read that again. Is it the same with follow-up? I notice a struggle in follow-up when I switch to a higher quality lead gen. I don't know. I'm trying to understand this because I don't think that for me anyways, the way I look at this, I don't think it should make a difference, right? I just think you don't have a good process, honestly, just to be frank with you. Because switching, right, to a higher quality lead gen shouldn't be, you know what I mean, shouldn't create that problem if you have a really good, follow-up process and system, right? Like knowing when to move prospects. And by the way, this is just stages, right? There's a lot going on inside of the stages. There's drips, there's text messages. I talked about this yesterday. Remember? I talked about this yesterday. If you didn't watch that, I've already dialed twice, and by the time I call them again, the system is dripping them already. They got like two text messages, right? An email, 2 text messages and an email. So besides the stages that I'm showing you right now, okay, they are also getting dripped. So Perry, going back to your question here, I don't think I think just you need to tighten up your process. That's really what it comes down to, right? And look, I'm telling you right now, it's not the most important piece because everything's equally important. If you don't generate leads, you can't close deals. If you don't close deals, you can't pay for more lead gen. If you don't pay, if you don't manage your leads right, you're not going to close deals. If you don't, so again, it's not the most important, but it's the biggest piece in the phases, right, of the life of the lead. Because remember, we're in a marketing and sales business. There's the lead gen phase, there's the lead management phase, and there's the lead conversion phase. The biggest piece that's always going to cause you problems if you don't systemize it, if you don't establish processes and potentially put a personnel to handle it, is lead management, right? Is the lead management, the follow-up. And we all know, what have we all heard, which, social media ruins everything that's great. The money is in the follow-up, right? The money is in the follow-up. This one call close culture has ruined everyone so much. I call it the one call close culture, right? Somebody DM me the other day, sent me a message, and they're like, this is a good follow-up, right? Or something like that. Or I can't remember what it was, the message. Anyways, and I replied back to them and I said, brother, I said the one call close culture ruined in reality what it is, which is it's a follow-up game. You know what I mean, Perry? Like it's a follow-up game. Like if I look back at all the deals that I've done, right? The hundreds of deals that I've done, close to, getting up there close to 1,000, is that everything, it's all a follow-up, right? It's very rare, and it happens, but it's very rare that it happens where you close the deal on the one call close, right? You can't do it. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but that's not the norm, right? So the one call close culture has ruined the reality of a marketing and sales business, right? It's the follow-up, it's the managing, it's the nurturing. And that's the biggest piece of the phases, which is the lead management. If you can elevate it to a point where you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and potentially you have a good personnel to follow up for you, how much better are you going to be if you just focus on the lead conversion side, right? Where you're having consistent high-level conversations. Now, don't get me wrong, you're still going to have to follow up, but you're now not a follow-up specialist, right? So that's why I'm a big believer in having the right systems, the right processes, and even if you can hire personnel when it comes to your lead management, right? At what point do we need drip campaigns? You need drip campaigns. Let me back up here a little bit. The issue with this question is that we assume that just because a lead came into our CRM or we generated an opportunity, we think that it goes back to what I said. I think it was yesterday or on Friday, right? Drip campaign should be used from like there is no time where it's a good time to use a drip campaign. Like drip campaigns should be used all the time. Like as soon as a lead, like here's the process, right? As soon as a lead hits the CRM, guess what? Boom, they get a text message or get an email. Hey, we received, right? So reply. Now that's done automatically because I do PPC, right? But the same thing, if they hit your CRM, a text message should go out. Hey, we received your information. when would be a good time for us to get on the phone and speak about selling your property, right? Like right away. So that's from the get-go, bro. Like a drip, if you can have a drip campaign from the very start of the life of the lead, like it's going to make you actually stand out. Most of us look at drip campaigns and say, man, we're just bombarding the seller. Like, and that's a negative way to look at it. It's like, no, you should look at it. It's like, as soon as you hit our CRM, we're going to be in front of you. We're going to be, we're not going to let you get off the hook. But that also lets the seller know that you are legit, right? Like, man, like think about all these other people that they filled out forms for or they talked to, right? And nobody's called them back. Nobody's hit them up. So I think you need to, if you can, I think you should use drip campaigns from the very beginning, honestly. As soon as the lead from when the lead is born in your CRM, right? Now there's different ones, right? Like there's like I'm not going to, if I talk to someone, right? Someone comes into the new lead and then they basically they get a text message and that says, hey, we received your information. When would be a good time to have a 5 to 10 minute chat? And then there's a sequence, right, that comes after that if I can't get a hold of them. Now, if I do get a hold of them, and then obviously that's going to be a little bit different. So you need to have different ones. You need to have different ones for the different stages. Like they can't be the same, obviously. But I think that it needs to be from when the lead is born into your CRM. Like there's no, again, we've had some leads that got drip for 6 months, 8 months, and then they finally want to sell. This is why, right? And you let the system do it. You no longer have to worry about it. You just focus on the high level conversations, closing the deals, and then basically, focus on the new leads that are coming in as well too. So, Perry said, is a VA good choice for the lead manager, or do you recommend in-house? Okay, that's a really great question. What I think is when you're first starting out, right? When you're first starting out, I'm okay with having your lead manager as a VA, just because you need at least something to be able to take that responsibility away from you, delegate it, right? So if you can't hire someone in-house, then I think a virtual assistant works just fine, right? I also, however, think once you start to grow and develop, if you can have a lead manager in house, that's even better, right? Because they can do live transfers, they're on the spot, but it's not necessarily required, right? I think having a virtual assistant when it comes to a lead manager, because remember the script that I have for my lead manager is like it's like this long, right? It's like 1 page at the most. But it's not like it's not like it's like spaced out, right? So it's just intro, the pitch for the appointment, a few questions, and then setting the call back. That's it. Like your VA should not be negotiating and asking for price and all that. I mean, there is a question in there, right? Like, hey, ballpark, if you don't have to pay any closing costs, what would you want for the property? But that's just more of a probe question, right? We're not trying to get a number from the seller. But a virtual assistant is fine, dude. Like, make sure that you train them well. Remember, one thing with virtual assistants, they are only going to work to their highest level of training, right? So even though they might have experience, but they don't have an experience the way Perry wants his follow-up to work. You see, everyone here on this call, if we took a poll, everyone has a different follow-up. Like what I'm talking about today, some of you guys are like, well, it's a little much for me. Like I don't need to have all those stages, right? That's okay, right? That's okay. So, but again, that's your job, Perry, to teach the VA to make sure that they are working the leads or they're managing the leads to the way you want them to follow up with, right? How far you want them to go in the conversation, how far you want them to, book the appointment. What do you want them to say? Like these things come from you, right? So Perry said he's doing good. Awesome. What time do you start this? I'm on 10 a.m. Arizona time, bro. I think Pacific Standard Time. I think we're the same right now, I believe. So it's 10 a.m. Arizona time. That's the time I start. What CRM and dialer do you use? So right now I'm currently using Liberty Leads CRM. It's the Go High Level. I have the link in the description. I talked about it yesterday. They have drips. They can set up the stages. This is exactly what it looks like right here, right? Drips, sequences. They have everything in there, and it's like I think it's like I believe it's like 99 bucks a month or something like that. So and the dialers within the CRM, by the way. So if I want to call a lead, I can just call it, and there's an app for it too as well, which is great. I love the app when it comes to getting hold of sellers. Mike, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you. Fire emoji. Jennifer says, I can't live without my VA. There you go. Right. So there you go. Jennifer has a VA. I don't know what her VA does, if she's a lead manager or an admin or whatever, but you know, at some point, like I said, I'll finish this off and then we'll get into some calls here. Usually, Jonathan, I believe you're new to the stream. I spent about an hour just giving a monologue or a dialogue, however you want to call it, just about different topics. And so, you know, I've been talking a lot about managing the pipeline, right? I think that's more important. And here's the thing, man. Not a lot of people talk about this, right? It's all about close the deal, close the deal, close the deal. All right, like get this under contract. And look, that's important. I'm not saying it's not. It's very important. And so basically what happens is that if we don't manage the pipeline at a high level, the results tend to show, right? You're going to have less results or you're going to have higher results, right? So that's why it's so important. That's why I love talking about this, because most sales programs, okay, most sales programs, when it comes to talking about this, they have no clue about this, right? They'll talk to you about a script. They'll talk to you about conversation, objection handling. They'll talk to you about one-liners. They'll talk to you about how to pitch an offer, how to get the seller to give you your number. They'll talk about intro and building rapport. They'll talk about, you know, active listening. They'll talk about all those things that are tied into sales, but they'll never talk to you about this, because most of them don't even know, because they don't do it. One, they don't do it. Two, they probably have never even managed a pipeline in their life, right? And so for me personally, right, being involved, you know, doing this for such a long time, and then also training teams at a high level, this is the biggest issue when it comes to closers, right? When it comes to even sales leaders, right? Like they don't give them support. They say, here's the leads, here's a script, go. Like, wait a minute. Right? Like, here's the leads, here's a script, go. Like, make dials. Now, I said this on Friday. Can you get contracts that way? Yes. I'm not saying that you can't lock up deals. But what I am trying to say, if you want to move to a higher level, if you want to be consistent and you want to have predictability, this is what you need to master. Okay. And so, any questions about that, guys, before we get started? Any questions? Let's see. Where are you getting your VAs? So, a few different places. There's Red Door Marketing. That's a connection that I have in Mexico. That's somebody that I've known for now 6 years, I would say, Jonathan. You know, but today there's so many available. Like, there's so many options. But what's your opinion on REI Simply CRM? I've never used it, so I don't have an opinion on it. I know a lot of people are, and I think it's RE Simply, I believe, if I'm not correctly. I've never used it. I know a ton of people that are switching to it. They're even leaving Salesforce. They're leaving Left Main Salesforce for RE Simply, which is crazy. But maybe there's something there. I don't know. I know some guys, you know, some guys that have big operations that are literally switching from Left Main, which is embedded inside of Salesforce, over to RE Simply. So I've seen it. I've seen the system, and I've seen the like what it looks like. I've seen the aesthetics. I mean, honestly, it looks like Go High Level, but I never used it, so I don't have an opinion. If I would have used it, I could have gave you a better opinion. All I know is that there is like big operations that are switching over to it. So there must be something to it, right? I mean, some of these operations that I've seen and some of these guys that are starting to switch over are like, they're big deal, right? And so there must be something to it, and so again, if I would have used it, I would have had a little bit more opinion on it, but I don't really know exactly how it works, or you know what I mean, what's all involved and what do you get with it. So all right, let's see. Any other questions, guys? Oops, what's going on here? All right, before we get started, I'm gonna pull up. Let me go ahead and remove this. Hopefully that helps some of you, because I think sometimes, these look, guys, like this is not this is the unsexy. This is not the sexy thing to talk about. Everybody wants the highlight reel, of somebody on the phone, right? Everyone wants the highlight reel of hitting the button on the on DocuSign. Everybody wants the highlight reel, like, but this is the stuff that matters here, what we're talking about, right? And to be honest with you, like, everything that's your everything you see, right? And I've done it myself. I'm not immune to it. But this is the stuff that nobody wants to be a part of, right? That's why you see there's not. I mean, if I was doing like something else, or doing there would be, if I was just kind of, if I was showing you my closer script, this room would be full. But because we're talking about this, you got people jumping on and off because it's boring. And there's some of you that have stayed, right? Which is great. That means you want to get better. But this stuff is not sexy at all. But it is the most important thing out of anything, right? If you can get to a level where you're organized, where you have a plan, you have goals, you're organized, you have a system, you have a process, you have, potentially good personnel, that's what matters, right? All the hype fades, right? All the rah starts to, fade out. You can't live off that. But you can live off this, what we're talking about today, right? And if I was in here yelling and giving you guys rah, like, this room would be full. It would be crazy, right? But I'm not doing that. I'm actually showing you need to do the work. You need to be disciplined. You need to have structure. You need to hold yourself accountable. You need to make sure that you're treating the leads with respect, right? And guess what? People don't want to hear that. They're like, I don't want you, I don't need you to tell me what to do. Well, you don't want to be successful then. You don't want to have longevity. You're looking for that next you're looking for that next shiny object that you think is going to make you better. And unfortunately, it's not, because you're not taking action, you're not doing the work, you're not making the calls, you're not structuring yourself, you're not holding yourself accountable, you're not doing these things that are important, right? The things that matter, the things that stick. If you look at any elite high level athlete, or in anything, they're always going to tell you this one thing: the fundamentals is what matters, right? The basics, the boring stuff, the drills, the looking at the playbook, the running, the, you know what I mean, the shooting, the everything, like, the throwing, whatever, doesn't matter. Whoever you listen to, that's what they're going to say. And this is sort of a lost art in a way, because most people want the quick fix and the quick turnaround. And unfortunately, that's a fast way to get you burned out. Honestly, it's a fast way to get you burned out, and it's the quickest way for you to quit doing this. I've seen so look, and when I say this, I literally mean it. I've seen hundreds since I started doing this. I've seen hundreds of people come and go. Literally hundreds of people come and go, because again, they become fans of this business, right? they don't really become doers, and they don't become and they don't get serious about this business, right? And look, guys, I'm not here to sugarcoat none of this. Like, if you're on the Deal Lab, you're gonna get the truth, right? You're gonna get the real, because most of what's out there is fluff. Most of what's out there is rah, right? And so, like I said, I've seen hundreds of people come, and I've seen hundreds of people go in this business. It's incredible how this business, because most people don't take it serious, right? They don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. Um, I believe you're talking about your VA. I got mine already trained on a high level team that I was part of. He does most things you would need in this business. We tweak little things here and there. He transforms it into whatever I need. I love that. See, there you go. Delegate, delegate that. This is the most important stuff, Max. Without all this, your leads will slip away. So thank you for the refreshers. Yeah, absolutely. It's you could tell I have a little bit of passion for this, because when I trained, um when I trained inside of Sandler, right? I went in, I was there for 5 years. You guys know this. I share the story all the time. When I first started, I was the same way, right? Like, I was like, give me the lines, give me the scripts, and give me the phrases, right? And the first 8 weeks, you go to fundamentals. The first 8 weeks, you're just going to fundamentals and learning the basics. And so by week 4, I was getting upset. Like, I'm like, I spent money for this. like, I like week 4, I'm like, what am I doing here? This is boring. Like, this is dumb. I'm not learning sales. Right? I'm not learning skills. And little did I know that those 8 weeks had more impact than any adjustments that I ever made. And actually, because of those 8 weeks, and I'm not saying only those 8 weeks, but the first 8 weeks of being in foundations inside of the Sandler system, the biggest thing that was actually the most and the biggest and the most important thing ever. Because till this day today, that foundation has never left me. Like, it's still, that's what's keeping me going. That's what's giving me longevity. That's what's giving me relevancy, right? Is those 8 months in foundations. Little did I know, right? At that time, I'm like, man, this thing sucks. Like, why am I even here? Why did I spend thousands of dollars to be here if I'm not getting anything, right? That's what I said. And so, look, I don't charge thousands of dollars, right? I could literally move this over to school and charge thousands of dollars for this, but I'm not. So again, I'm like, why am I here? And then, like I said, little did I know, those 8 weeks in foundations, I realized was going to stay with me for the rest of my life. And obviously 5 years later, you guys know the story. I continued to go for and then we went into mastery, and then I ended up getting, a letter of recommendation from my sales coach, as a recognized Sandler student, right? And so then, this is so important. This is what I'm saying. Like Jennifer says, this is the most important stuff, right? When it comes to being an elite player. I have access to Local Marketer Pro, which is go high level. My friend gave me access, but I need to spend time to transition it to it from Podio. I will have to build it out from scratch. Derek, give me a call, bro. Stop messing around. I told you, call me. I think when I said yesterday or Friday, give me a call. You can call me today. And by the way, if you're busy today, give me a call tomorrow. You have my phone number. I want to help you, bro. Okay. So stop messing around, Hector. I'm just kidding. But if you guys don't know where that's from the movie Scarface. Oh man. All right. Seems like I went on a rant here for you guys, but it's very important to know this and understand this. And difference, right? The difference of having a solid foundation from just being built off of rah and hype and noise and this and that, right? All right, let me pull everything up here so we can get going, talk to some sellers. By the way, every day on the Deal Lab, I'm always talking about different systems and different different systems, different softwares that I'm using, things like that. So I would recommend, if you haven't watched the previous ones, what I comp with and all that stuff. So I would recommend doing that. We're about to blast the deal out for the one in Naples, Florida. We're gonna blast that one out this morning inside of Investor Lift. So we finally got pictures from the seller, and I also need to figure out Jimmy. Jimmy hasn't even opened up the contract. I sent it to him yesterday, so we're gonna follow up on that as well today. That's why, Derek, when you said yesterday, the importance of making sure that whenever you send an agreement out, make it a habit to have them on the phone, right? Like literally, hey, it's company policy that I'm on the phone. We don't have to talk. I'll just be on the background in case you have any questions. I'll be there to answer the questions, because the last thing I want is that you're going through the agreement and then you're gonna have questions and then you won't call me, because a lot of times people are embarrassed. He was a little different character for sure, though. Attorney and all this, like, so that's why I made the decision. But this is why. This is a good example of that. But doesn't mean that I can't pull it back, right? So I gotta check on that as well too. Yeah, so no, he hasn't even viewed it yet. Kind of figured. Hmm, interesting. So we did have a new lead come in, but they ended up replying to the drip. Um, hmm. Let's see. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what happened there. All right. So what we'll do is we got some leads that we haven't been able to get a hold of, so we're gonna end up calling these that we have first attempt on, just because. And I'm organizing them with the tags. So there we go. So we got one, two, three, four, five leads that were new that we weren't able to get a hold of. They're under the first attempt, so we're gonna try to call them first, and then what we'll do is a little bit later we'll try to get a hold of oh, I hate this thing, this desk. All right, here we go. Jonathan said, "What markets are you in, Max?" We're like in 7 different markets. So, your typical, your typical Florida, Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, Arizona, Nevada, and I think we're California. We wanted to go in. I don't remember, but that's right now. That's where we're in right now. So. All right, here we go. Set this up so you guys can hear the call. All right, let's see.
You have reached the Garrett. You have reached the Garrett residence. Please leave your name and phone number, and I will return your call as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hello, Roberto. This is Max. I was calling about your property over on Low Mill Road because. All right. So no answer there. So what we're going to do is fourth attempt. I'm going to put it. You know what? We have no drip running here. Interesting. I'm gonna throw her on a drip. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, brother? Not much. Hey, question for you. I'm about to switch this drip on this seller. Which one do you recommend? There's one that says motivated seller drip. Is that a new one? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. I can make the adjustment. Yeah, not a big deal. Yeah. Yeah, right. Have people watch us eat. That's funny. Oh man. Yeah, right. Yeah, only reason I'm asking is because I want to put the seller on, but I wasn't sure about that one. Yeah. Okay. Well, remember this is so two the other lead source, right? From the outbound. So I don't know if that will work for that one. Yeah. Right. That's why I didn't set it because I didn't know if that one had the form or just the teammate, right? Reached out to a teammate or something, or a team member reached out to you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, because that was just for us to get started. So right. Yeah. Cool. That works, man. All right. You gonna be available a little later once I get off this live? Cool, man. That works. All right. I'll call you once I'm done here. Later. Bye. All right. I had to check on, we have a drip. We have a different drip, right? Depending on the lead source. Because we do have some outbound leads that we generated for the show until the campaign. Because we have a fresh campaign starting for this live. And so I didn't want to send out a drip on that one because it was an outbound lead. I didn't want it to. I wasn't sure if that drip campaign was set for outbound inbound only. So let's see. What the heck? So weird. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to organize some of these so I can just go through them and knock them out when it comes to that. Just some of these are mixed in with because remember I just started working this pipeline, so I want to make sure that they're organized to get them into the the pipeline that I showed you guys earlier, because there's some of them in contacts, yeah, and trying to move them over and stuff. So let's see here. There we go. All right. Boom. Let's start dialing and smiling, everyone. Now that we got that out of the way.
This Don.
Hey, Don, this is Max. I was calling you because you spoke to one of my team members about selling your property over at James Street.
James Street.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Obviously I wanted to, follow through and ask you, some quick questions, see if we can qualify the property for an offer.
I can afford it. I'm busy in hell, but can afford it.
You say you're busy now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you were me calling you back, when would you do that?
Well, tell me the offer.
How am I supposed to do that if I don't know anything about the property or anything?
Well, all right, call me back.
What? When do you want me to call you back? What time will work for you?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock your time? Okay, perfect. That works. I'll call you today at 4.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Guy. Sellers, man, they're so funny. He definitely got caught slipping there. All right, so let me set up a callback for this guy. Oh man. Where's this at? Georgia. Okay, so 3 hours ahead. That would be 1 o'clock my time. 4 o'clock. That'll be 1 o'clock my time. Cool. So I'm gonna put that as an appointment booked. Call him back. So weird. Huh. All right, then we're going to appointment booked 8. $11:30 a.m. What? So weird. Hmm. All right. He's like, what's the offer? I don't know. How am I supposed to make you an offer on something I don't even know what it is? Don't be afraid to say, I don't know, because you don't know, right? Especially in the beginning of the call like that. The heck? Tim Louis.
Three, 1, 7, 5, 1, 4, 3. Three, 1.
All right, no answer. All right, next. Tim Louis.
Hello?
Hello, Tim.
Hi.
Hey, Tim, it's Max. I'm calling you because you had spoken to one of my team members about selling your property over at Edgerton Avenue, I think it's called.
Yeah, right now, I have no plan of selling it. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm a little confused. What changed?
Yeah, no, it's just we have new tenants in already, so yeah.
Okay, got it. Are you not planning to sell at all, or is this another timeline later down the road?
Not. I think I spoke to. There's so many calls calling me. They all
Right.
offer like a cash value, but very low. The offer price very low, so I wouldn't even consider for now.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. So a lot of the offers you received were a lot lower than what you expected. So it was kind of like maybe
Yeah,
maybe
yeah. Like,
maybe it's not a good time to sell or delay it.
right. It's like 40% lower than the market value. Then that's not
Yeah.
something I really consider. Okay.
Yeah, what
Thanks for your call.
No, yeah, really quick before I let you go. I know obviously I'll make sure I'll notate this so we don't call you anymore. And one of the things I always tell sellers is that, if you want if you go the convenience route where it's like you choose your own closing date and all that stuff, like you don't have to do any repairs, it's always going to be a lot less. But there is a way where you can get basically a lot more money, right? But it sounds to me like at this point is you're not even considering selling it anymore.
Correct. Yeah. Because if the house right now is in a good condition. Like
Is it?
everything has been fixed. I spent a lot of money on it already. So
Oh, got it.
no.
And what's stopping you from listing it on the market to get it sold?
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about that?
What?
What's stopping you from listing it on the market?
I think right now is not a good time. Like the market is really bad. So I want to wait until the market gets better.
And then what happens if it doesn't and it gets worse? What's going to happen then?
If I still get the rent, that's fine. Only when the market gets better, then
yeah, because it could go either way, right? Like if the interest rate drops, then it's going to get better, but also it could also go the opposite as well. Yeah. So I always tell sellers your property is always going to be worth the most today, right?
There's a lot of uncertainties, but but since I already rented out, so
you rented it out already?
Yeah. So I don't want like the tenants. So I already have a 1 year lease. So
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Do you have any other properties you would consider selling?
No, not no. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but okay. Thanks.
Sounds good, Tim. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye. All right. So again, this is important. I mean, that was a really good call, even though nothing came out of it. But remember, don't just let them go. Like, hey, I'm confused. So you're not wanting to sell anymore? And so asking that one more question, making one more statement, identifying, what's going on. Obviously, it sounds like he was getting a lot of low offers, which, he probably wants too much for the property. I asked him what stopped him from listing on the market, right? And the reason I asked that is because, that's usually where you're going to get more money for it, right? And so, and then at the end, obviously he told me he's already got it rented out. And then, at the end, he's like, not wanting to sell really, right? Like he's saying the market, this and that. So again, it's good. We found out a lot from potentially what could have been a dead call, right? I mean, we got to practice. That's the thing you have to remember. Like when someone says hello, you can't control the no answers. Remember that. You can't control the no answers. You can't control people hanging up on you, but you can control from when they say hello, right? That is your domain that you should be living in and should orchestrate the conversation, right? Because if you don't, you already know how hard it is to get a hold of sellers, right? Like it's so difficult. So as soon as someone says hello, you got to be on your A game. This is why preparing and having a game plan works, because of situations like this, right? I could have easily ended that call, but I didn't. I wanted to push to see if there was anything that I can, make out of it. But in this case, it's not interested in selling yet. So now let's make some notes. Gonna put them under not interested. Created. Okay. Jose said he's trying to time the market. Good comeback. What if it gets worse? What would be considered good? Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times sellers don't think that, right? Like yeah, you're getting, you're getting ready. Right now is not a good time, right? And you're right. What will be considered good? Because the market is could get worse, right? We don't know. It might get better, or it might go the other way. And if it does, how's that going to impact you, right? That's sort of, you can use that same analogy or that same rebuttal for the objection of Zillow, right? Like, well, Zillow says that my property's worth this. How many times have we heard that from a seller? Right, so how many times have we heard that from a seller, where it's like, well, Zillow says my property's worth this, and it's like, okay, potentially, right? It could be worth that. What we found out with Zillow, a lot of times it's a lot lower than what your property's worth, and they're like, what? But in a lot of the cases, right? And then we bring them back in a lot of the cases, what we discovered, it was way too high. You see, so that's why we don't typically use Zillow after, doing this for such a long time. We don't use this estimate because we found in some occasions it was a lot lower than what initially we offered. But most of the time we found out that the Zillow's estimate was just way too high, right? So same thing here, right? It's like, well, what happens if, you're bringing the future to the present? What happens if it doesn't get better, right? What if it gets worse? How's that going to impact you? Which it could. I'm not saying that he can't, right? So Tommy left a voicemail. Let's see.
Hello, Taylor. Yeah, it was Tom Power. I'm returning your phone. Yeah, this is, I believe it was someone from our team here that was reaching out to you about property. We're still looking to sell. Which one is that? Question, any of them, but let me pull it up and I can tell you which one we were looking at. You have a couple in mind. So yeah, go ahead. I'm just open. Yeah, it's loading up. I'm clicking around and seeing it's time. So
All right, so we got a call back from the seller, but Taylor picked it up. Okay, cool. And we set up a. All right, let's see. Oh, great. Oh, great, 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 great. No, so wait, no. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang, bang. Let's see.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, Adam.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, it's Max. I'm calling you because it looks like you spoke to one of my team members about selling that property over at Green Road.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to, obviously follow through on that information and just ask you a few questions to see if the property qualifies for an offer. Is that fair?
Sure.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. I do have, obviously the information that I usually just get online. Can you verify for me is it a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom?
Yep. 2,200 square foot, 21 something, 22, somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, that confirms what I'm seeing then online. Does it have a homeowner associations?
Nope.
It doesn't? Okay. Perfect. Appreciate that. And then also, is this a rental property or is this your primary residence?
That's my home.
It is your home. Okay, perfect. So you stay there. Got it. And I guess the other question for you is, when you do decide to sell this, not necessarily to us, will anyone else have an input in helping you make the decision?
Not really. If the money's right. I have no ties. I got no kids, no nothing else. So.
Got it. Okay, okay. And that's totally fair. I only ask that because, whenever someone's making a decision like this, there's often someone else, whose input they usually go get or hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No.
No problem. No problem. And then ballpark, how long have you owned the property?
That's 7, 8 years.
Okay, got it. Okay. So less than 10 years. That's not too long. What's got you thinking about selling already?
I mean, I get these offers every single week. People call me trying to buy it. So if the money's right, I'll sell it. Otherwise, I don't want to matter.
Makes sense. Makes sense. What stopped you from going with any of those offers previously?
Same song and dance every time. If you don't have the power to make an offer, then I don't want to waste my time talking to a bunch of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That simple.
That makes
I'm
sense.
not here for only pass this along to an underwriting team and they can look over it. Now, if they don't have decency or they can talk to me, then I'm not interested in business with a big corporation.
Yeah, makes sense. I've seen a lot of that lately. Usually they're talking
against you, but
yeah. No, I get
I'm
that.
not here to make, you know what I mean, billionaires richer. Somebody smaller trying to make a living, you know what I mean, coming home or doing something like that.
Yeah.
The person who can make the decisions, then cool. If not, no thanks.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, that's very thoughtful as well, trying to help the smaller investors. Okay. I mean, it sounds like you got to put a pretty good grip on this, and obviously you know what you want. I mean, ballpark, what are you looking to get for the property?
Me? Well, the last offer I got was $397.7 to me.
397.7?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was, I don't know, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
There was a new roof and everything on the place. That's what they went to with it.
Got it. And I'm assuming that was too low for you?
You know, I told them, you know what I mean? If I decide to do it, you know what I'm saying? I'll give them a call first, but it wasn't enough to really entice me to jump on it.
Makes sense. Okay. What would that number be?
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
For a quick quick sale, no inspections, no nothing as is. And that was to me, and they cover all the costs. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty good offer,
But I have
actually.
his name and number. Yeah, I have his name and number and all that saved.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Now let me.
he's been trying to buy it for about a year now, to be honest with you. The same guy.
Yeah, that's a pretty long time. So what is your timeline if you were to get the right offer that you were like, man, this is it?
Probably 45 days.
45 days. Okay.
Just enough time for me to buy a camper.
Oh,
and
got
sell
it.
my personal belongings.
Got it.
And
Okay.
sell behind my truck. Toy hauler. All I need is my safe, my tools, and my four-wheelers.
I see. I see. So is that the goal? You just want to just get rid of it and like get it lit, like take your camper?
I'll probably go out I'll go out to the mountains.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Got it. And then and I guess obviously you have a lot of options here, which is really good. I know, unfortunately some sellers that I speak in the past don't really have options. So is convenience more important to you?
I'm not behind on payments. I have a very cheap mortgage.
Yeah.
I got good credit, so it's not like it's something I'm hurting to try to get out of before it ruins it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And so when I hear that, obviously one of the questions I like to ask is, obviously, is convenience more important to you, or would you be open to,
my price. That's it.
Well, only ask that because typically, you know this, I mean, if you list it on the market, you're going to get the most for it, right? That's where you maximize.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But then I get to deal with viewings and shit like that.
Yeah, and there's that side of it, right? Dealing with with agents and having to pay commissions and everything else. And that's why
Don't get me wrong, I know I'd make more that way, but like you said, it's a hassle, the waiting game.
Mm-hmm. That's why when I talk to sellers, usually we have a few options, right? Or I have a few options when it comes to buying the property. One is the quick close option, which you said convenience. It does come in a little lower, but then I have a program called the Flex Equity program, and so it works a little bit the same way as I would listing it on the market. Only we would handle everything. Yeah, there's no commissions, there's no fees, there's no, there would be some showings involved, obviously, but these would be all vetted buyers, but you wouldn't have to do anything.
Let me hear it, man. Just send me, my email is adamgoodwin87@gmail. Just send me an email with some stuff, all right?
Like what kind of stuff? What do you want?
You can tell me those different options if you want. I'm in the gym right now, so.
Or
are you? Think of a number, you can email it to me that way too, what numbers would be on each option for you guys.
Sure. And then, well, if you're at the gym, I love to, obviously I'll put something together for you, but also when can I follow through and talk to you a little bit more in detail? Cause I don't know all the details about the property, obviously. So it'd be hard for me to kind of put some.
Well, I mean, the details you need to, I can give them to you quick. Now there can't be that many things, right?
Well, I mean, just, obviously we need a lot of more information when it comes to condition and things like that. So, that way.
Right, just give me a call tomorrow then, man.
At what time would you be available where there's no interruption?
I'll be at work tomorrow, so I work myself all day. I can talk to you all day.
Do you? Okay. So if I called you, are you usually at the gym around this time?
I won't be at the gym tomorrow.
Okay. Today you're off. Okay, got it. What if I put on the calendar to give you a call tomorrow at this time?
Sounds good.
All right. Sounds good. I'll talk to you then. Take care. Bye. This guy, it's an interesting call. Adam, interesting guy. He has no this guy has no, he's definitely not a distressed seller, I can tell you that right now. So it did intrigue him a little bit, right? When I said, hey, we have I have different options, right? He's been trying, that guy's whoever made that offer, it's either not real, because that's a pretty good offer. I mean, the property's probably worth anywhere between 415 to potentially 430. I would have to do a little bit more comps, but I'm not going to do that right now until I end up talking to him and getting a true vibe of him wanting to sell. He seems very nonchalant, by the way. You know what I mean? And so you have to be careful with those people because they'll waste your time, right? Like, that's why I said, what do you want me to send you? Like, I don't know anything about the property, so what do you want me to send you? Right? I can't just send you an email if I really don't even know what the heck I'm getting into here. So, um, but you know, I mean, I'm looking at the pictures. The property's pretty nice, actually, based on the pictures from 6 years ago, right? Whenever he bought it. Let's see. Yeah, so he bought it on 2018. So yeah, I mean, not a bad property, right? Like it's not a bad property at all. So this would be a good one to do as an ovation, just because I already know he's not going to go for the cash offer, especially at the price point. It's got 1 acres. It's in Lakeland, Florida. Um, so I got to put in my calendar to fill, to what do you call it? Give him a call tomorrow. So let's see, set up a task. You guys noticed something too, right? I had no idea he was at the gym, right? So not because I could have asked him, right? Did I catch you at a bad time or something? I don't use that no more just because it traps you. So I let them tell me, hey, I'm not in a good position right now. But when it gets tricky like this, when they entertain the conversation and then all of a sudden it gets real, and I'm at the gym right now, right? Okay, well, then I make the adjustment and say, okay, well, if you're me calling you back without interruption, I want to make sure that you're available for 5 to 10 minutes. And he's like, well, what do you need to know? Like, I can answer that on the fly right now. Like, dude, I need to know everything about the property. I need to know all the condition. I need to make sure that I understand what I'm going to need. Like, right. And so don't let people rush you. Right. Or, for the most part, not only rush you, but also don't let them, put you in a spot where you should do things like, send me an email. Like, what do you want me to send you? I don't know what you want me to send you. Right. So, all right, here we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna put them in appointment booked. Remember managing the pipeline. We're gonna put them in appointment book for tomorrow. Perfect. Okay, let me see if he's in here. Boom. Just today we got 2 appointments set up already. Remember, 3 outcomes that I'm okay with. Get the contract 1, set up a follow-up 2, and the sell 3. That covers everything, right? Get the contract, set up a follow-up, or end the sell. All good. Ian, appreciate the fire emoji. Mike, what's going on, brother? Thank you for the fire emojis. I'm picking up so many listening to your call. I'm assuming you say gems. I'm picking up so many gems. Thank you for that. I appreciate it, Selena. What's one thing that stuck out to you so far out of everything I know you can probably write a few more, but what's like one big thing that sticking out to you that's making you like, oh man, this is really good, right? Do you ever use that underwriting strategy to negotiate? Yeah, nothing's when it comes to sales, I don't care what guru you listen to. When it comes to sales, right? In general, sales is a slight edge game, right? If he's telling me he doesn't want to deal with corporations and he doesn't want to deal if you got to go to the if you got to go through multiple people, like why am I still going to use the underwriter? Right? Like Like, I'm not gonna do that, right? You have to know, high level closers know how to make an adjustment, right? If I need to use the underwriter, if I need to say, hey, um, hey, I definitely want to do a little bit more homework. I'm also going to talk to my underwriting team. That's a strategy. Yeah, why not? Right? Like, there is nothing off the table when it comes to sales and negotiation. You think that the sellers leave everything off the table? Absolutely not. Right? So there's like there's not like and again, got to meet the sellers where they're at, right? And so, but yeah, I use it on this case. I didn't use it, but you've heard some, I don't know if you, I think you've heard some of my other calls, like I've used it, right? Like, I got to talk to my team, or yeah, I'm gonna run it through my underwriters. I never say fine. The only thing I don't say, guys, is finance department. I hate that word, honestly. And the only reason why is because it just reminds me of being in the dealership all the time. You're gonna go meet the finance manager now, like, oh, and there goes 4 hours of your life. So that's the only thing I don't like, the finance. That word for me has, and listen, I never have used it. I'm like, I don't work for Ford or GM to be talking to the finance department. Like, that is the cheesiest thing. And again, that's just my personal opinion. Okay, I know people that use it, but underwriter I'm okay with. But yeah, I use it. Selena says yes. The transition in the conversation, the pivot. Awesome. I love that. Yeah. So to be honest with you, that's one of the most. I'm glad that you brought this up, because most people don't catch that. By the way, um, learning how to transition in the conversation and making the pivots, you become unstoppable, right? I'm not saying I don't make mistakes, and I don't have to make adjustments every now and then to my transitions and the pivots, but transitions and pivots are so powerful. I have a whole I have actually, Selena, I have a whole Jermaine might have this, because I think you're with Jermaine. Um, he might have this training, the transitions, right? And I've updated a few things, but I have a training that's specifically called what is it called, high level transitions, right? Knowing when to make transitions, knowing when to make the pivots from one conversation to another, right? Before you continue, things that you should be asking, things that you should be looking for. So that's a huge takeaway. Kudos to you. Jermaine, 100%. Yeah. Sam said, adjust to the seller's liking. Yeah. Look, I don't I don't try to be something I'm not, right? For the most part. Like, you guys tell me if I do, like, these calls. Like, I only change and I only make the adjustments to meet the sellers where they're at, right? But I never try to not like be this other, like, I'm just Max, right? That's who I am. And so but I do make adjustments when it comes to talking to sellers based on their liking, on their needs, because it's not about me. That's the one thing you guys got to remember. It's not about you. It's not about anyone else. It's about them. And it's about them knowing that you can solve their problem. And that guy was a really good example, by the way, of that. He was a really good example of that, where he's like, I don't I don't want, I don't want to talk to anyone that's got to go talk to whoever. I don't want to deal with corporations. I don't want to make big corporations more money. Yada yada yada, right? And so on and so on and so on. So okay, well, I'll meet you there. Perfect. And he even said, "Hey, nothing against you, right?" Which I was like, "Cool, awesome, we're good then, dude." Right? So not a bad call. Man, my camera is flickering pretty bad today. There's gonna be something going on with my internet. Hmm. I don't know what's going on. All right, let's get back to this. Not bad. We're rocking and rolling now.
call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 8196300 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hello, Gary. It's Max. I was calling about your property over at Gatewood Circle because, geez. Why is this not working? So weird. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys. I'm doing something real quick. All right. What kind of leads are you calling? Cold call or PPL? Right now these are outbound, so they're cold call leads. Because we just launched the campaign, this new campaign for the Deal Lab. But they're a mix, actually. I should say they're cold call and then they're PPC, right? But eventually, what's going to happen is that the only reason why we have some outbound cold call leads is for the show, right? Just because I wanted to launch it, and so right now the PPC campaign is just warming up because it takes a little bit of time. It takes about a week or two for it to start generating like one or two, maybe 3 leads a day. But once we get that going, it's going to be all PPC. Yeah, all PPC leads, inbound leads that we're going to be calling, Sam. Okay, so he didn't pick up. Let's see. Yakov. What kind of name is that?
Hello?
Hello, Janet.
Yes?
Hi, Janet. This is Max. I was calling you because it looks like you had spoken to one of my team members about selling your property over at Sauk Mountain.
Oh, we've already done it, so it's no longer available.
Oh, well, congratulations. When do you close?
Well, it's with a family member, so we're just handling it ourselves.
Oh, I see. Okay, so family member decided to buy it, and you guys under contract and everything to sell?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we are. So.
Perfect. And I know,
Okay.
really quick before I let you go, I love to just check in, to see if it all worked out for you. Is there when would I put on the calendar to do that?
Oh no, it's all done. It wouldn't. It's not going to change at all. So.
Oh, money's in the bank already and everything, huh?
Thanks for calling. Bye bye.
Bye. Well, Janet, I'll call you in about 30 days when they don't get approved. So you guys know how that is. Family members buying it. So we'll add her to nurture. Jermaine says, laugh out loud. You know, it's true, bro. What kind of leads? Oh, I think I already answered that one. Sam, are you doing your own people? No. Actually, I'm about to give a shout out right now, so stay tuned. Ain't that the truth? Absolutely, it's the truth. We already know how that works out. But Sam, now that you're here or on here, excuse me. So yeah, so right now I don't manage my own PPC, my own leads. The leads that I receive are from get sellers. So they're the ones that are providing the leads. They're the ones that are giving. They're the ones who are providing, all the leads right now. Anyways, is get sellers. They're the main sponsor of the show. Taylor, the owner, I know him personally. Great individual. I spoke highly about him. You guys know that I don't associate my brand with just anyone. And so, he does a phenomenal job. He's been doing it for such a long time. He is a real marketing guy. Like he's not, and when I say marketing guy, I'm talking about like PPC, generating leads for your business. Like he's a true marketing guy. He's not just a guy that's, that learned, like he understands Google. He understands how to manage your campaigns. Literally is really good when it comes to what is it called, PPC campaigns. So that's what it is. The link is in the description if you guys are interested. He also does PPL as well. All you got to do is book a call with him. His prices are pretty good too when it comes to having competitive prices in that space. So he's doing PPL and he does manage. Plus he's got a really good if you do want to run a PPC campaign, like his management fee is actually is really good. Like it's not crazy like some of these other companies. And the best thing of all is he actually manages your campaign. That's the problem with a lot of, again, there's some really good ones out there, but there's some really horrible ones, right? where they don't manage your campaigns correctly, and then things start to fall through the cracks, and it becomes more of a reactive thing, right? It should always be proactively. Like when you hire a PPC company or marketing company, they should be proactively managing your campaign. So if you guys are interested in talking to Taylor, the link is in the description. I'll actually put it on the chat as well, so you guys can book a call with him, because I do stand by him. Like I said, you guys know that I don't associate my brand with just anyone. But here's the thing. I started this call today, right? I started this call by saying, hey, you have to delegate your marketing at some point. And so, you know, you need to make sure that you are, delegating it the correct way. And again, making sure that if you are going to use your hard-earned dollars with a company, that they are managing those funds as well too, right? That's always the hard part, is when you're finding companies, right, that are out there. They promote really well, but when it comes time to deliver, is where they basically fail, right? And so Taylor's got a good process. He meets with you like every once a month. He's consistently meeting you with once a month, meeting with you to see how your campaign is performing. And I do like the way he works personally. He's helped me not only with this, but he's helped me in two other settings as well too, on operations one that I consulted for, another one where I was at, and he's done the marketing for both of those as well. That's why I believe in him and I trust him when it comes to running the campaigns. So if you are looking for, obviously, working with a company that does PPL and PPC, I just dropped the link in the chat, and it's also in the video description if you want to book an appointment with him. So that being said, delegate your marketing at some point, right? Make sure that you're working towards that. If you financially are capable, do it. Do it. I always say that, right? Just because it's a huge benefit. So, all right, let's get back to this. Actually, let me check real quick on something. That's weird. All right, let's go. I just wanted to check on something on Investor Lift.
Let me do this for you. Let me get you over to someone who can further assist you, only because, unfortunately,
Sounds like she sounds like she picked up or something. I don't know. That was weird.
hello?
Hello, Gail?
Who?
Is this Gail?
No, you have the wrong number.
Oh, okay. You have no relation to the property at Stacy Lynn Drive? She said, nope. That's why I don't like asking it. This is one of the reasons. If you listen to my intro, I don't say I'm looking for or I'm trying to reach or is Gail there, right? Or like, but sometimes when they say who or it's not them, right? You have to kind of move to that second option. But initially, that's why I don't use that all the other. Hey, I'm just trying to reach so and so, or I'm looking for so and so, or is so and so there, right? Because it's just an automatic. It's an automatic. It's an automatic and an unnecessary objection that you create for yourself. Just avoid it all at once, right? And so that's the biggest thing is that if you can avoid unnecessary objections, it's even better. That's one of the biggest things that people struggle with is creating unnecessary objections by the things you say and the questions that you ask. That's another level for you guys, right? Is knowing how to avoid unnecessary objections. And that's one of them in the intro. I'm trying to reach. You'll never hear me say that. You can look up calls from the last 6 years and you'll never, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and you'll never hear me say I'm looking for or I'm trying to reach or I'm just calling for, right? Like those are no-nos. There's no need for them. You always have to assume you always have to call and assume the relationship when you make that call, right? And the biggest example I always give for people who are new to this, they're like, well, what's the theme about, like, why's that so important? Well, think about when someone says your name, when you're out and about and someone calls your name and they're yelling, hey Max, like it grabs your attention, right? It's a pattern interrupt because you're like, who the heck's calling me? Yeah, where do I know you from? The fact that they know your name means that there was some type of relationship established, right? The fact that the person yelled out your name, at some point you had contact with them. They don't know that, right? But I'm assuming the relationship. And so that opens up the door to grab their attention. And you only got a split second, by the way. So you need to take advantage of that, right? As soon as they answer, hello, Max, right? It's like, boom. That's why your pitch needs to be clear, short, right? Concise, like straight to the point. I'm calling you because. Don't spend too much time telling them what company you are and how many deals you do a month and all this other stuff. Like the intro is so important, right? And so that's just a nugget for you guys on the intro. Let's see. Dealing with a fraud alert, freezing up my ads account. So no lead today on the phone. Jennifer, I'm looking for fastest way to have a pre-foreclosure hang up on you. I'm looking for. You ain't looking for nothing. Goodbye.
Hi, you've reached speaking. Please leave a message.
No bueno. Hello? 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 I don't know what's going on over there. Call him again, third time.
Hi, you've reached speaking. Please leave a message.
I couldn't hear anything. I don't know. Hey guys, give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Go take a water break. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Back for the attack. You guys got any questions so far at all? For you guys that are with me?
Hello?
Hello, Christopher.
Yes.
Hey, Christopher, this is Max. I was calling you because it looks like you spoke to one of my team members about selling your property over at Hearst Drive.
Yeah, when was that?
Let me see. The information was passed to me April 7th. So it's been a few days.
I don't remember speaking to anyone.
Okay. So are you not considering selling that one?
Not for put it this way. It's not going to be for what y'all are wanting to pay. I can promise you that.
Okay. I mean,
Like,
I'm not.
It's a rental property, so it makes me money without me touching it. So unless you're willing to just throw money at it, just to get me to get out of it, it doesn't make sense for me to sell.
No, that makes sense. Totally fair. And look, we don't buy a property from a person we talk to either, right? I was just calling to ask a few questions, qualify for an offer, because I don't know exactly what I could pay for it. I don't know anything about the property. I don't know anything about, what type of rental or anything like that. So it would be very difficult to really provide you an offer you can depend on at the end of the day, right? But if you're not serious about
Yeah.
selling and you're just wanting someone to throw a number at you to make you move, I'm
No.
probably not the right
No,
person for you.
I'm just really not.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And this is why I like to be straightforward and transparent, right? The last thing I like to do is waste your time and lowball you, give you a lowball offer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
But
sounds great.
I appreciate the time.
Yeah, no problem. Take care. Bye. He ain't interested in selling. You see how I call that out? That's how you call that out. He went with the Zillow used to have this a few years back. I don't know if it was just Zillow, but they used to have a I think it was called Make Me Move, I believe, or maybe it was Zillow or the MLS. I don't remember. It was called Make Me Move, right? And you post your property on there, and it was just for people to submit offers, right? And it was called the Make Me Move offer or something like that. And that's why I was like, you're waiting for somebody to. He's not really serious about selling. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta be able to call that out. You think I should put that on not interested or dead? What do you guys think? Should that lead be on not interested or dead? Jennifer said not interested. Who else? We closed the deals said not interested. Right? Yeah, not interested. That's what exactly right. You both are right. And that's where I would put it. That's where I'm putting it. Not interested. And here's the other thing too, guys. Like anyone else that would have had that conversation, you know what they would have went? They would have went into convincing mode. Not even if I make you the right offer, not even if I make you like I discovered right away with the 5-minute conversation that he's not serious about selling just by saying, hey, so you're not really serious about selling, right? Like, he's gonna want some like crazy outrageous number, right? It's not gonna cash flow. I'm not gonna spend my time, I'm not going to spend 20 minutes talking to him just to get the same answer that I already know what the answer is, right? These are the things that you need to make sure that you're conscious of when you're talking to sellers. Don't, you can identify somebody right away, whether it's a prospect or a suspect, for you to be able to say, okay, I want to continue this call, right? I want to, but in this case, like, he's not serious, right? He even says so himself when I called him out on it.
Please leave your message for 253.
Hello.
Hello, Christina.
No,
No, Christina.
no, Cristina.
Oh, no habla español.
No,
Habla inglés.
yes.
Ah, okay. No Christina then here, right? Okay, sounds good.
No,
Bye bye.
that's not my name.
No, no habla inglés. No. Habla español. No. Well, what do you speak? Jeez. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Absolutely, bro. That's crazy. So I'm going to talk about something here after I make this call. Something that's that you guys should be paying attention to.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has. I'm sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please try your call again later. Goodbye.
No cliffhanger voicemail. So what I want to talk to you about really quick is phone's blowing up. So far we're at 20 dials, which is pretty low. I mean, we've been dialing for almost an hour now, so we need to be. But you notice a majority of these are cold calls, right? Cold call leads, excuse me. And so again, going back to what I was saying, right? What I was saying before, the quality, right, of the leads a little bit different, even though people have picked up, but you notice the quality of the conversation versus when I call a PPC lead, right? So like the two that I got under contract those were PPC leads. And so that this is showing you guys a picture, right? A little bit. I'm not saying you can't get deals out of the cold call leads. That's not what I'm saying here. It's just going to take a little bit more. The volume, there's a higher volume there, right? When it comes to difference between cold call leads and also difference between cold call leads and PPC leads. What the heck? Doing 1 day, doing 20 days. All right. Got Jimmy. I'm gonna resend him the agreement. Let's see. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Hold on, guys, real quick. One minute ago.
Hello.
Hello, Eric.
You?
Hey, Eric, it's Max. I was calling you because it looks like you spoke to one of my team members about selling the property over at Autobahn Road.
It's, sure. I've talked to hundreds of people though, so
Okay,
I can't even remember who's who anymore.
that's a lot of people. What's nobody's made you an offer or anything on the property that you?
Oh yeah, they've made me all kinds of offers
And what stopped you from going with any of them?
because I'm not I'm moving in 1 year, and they all want the property right now.
Makes
So
sense. Okay.
that doesn't work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So are you looking to get the process started in 1 year, or are you looking to be done and sold in 1 year?
To sell it in a year and move.
We'll see. Okay. What's got you where you moving to?
Florida.
Florida. Okay. Well, that's not a bad place to move to.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was just following through on the information. I know that just trying to get an idea of what, timeline and things like that. It sounds to me like we're still pretty far out before any decisions may be made from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, because I probably don't want to move in the winter,
Mm-hmm.
and we're free and clear in January, so it'll probably be like summer, probably June, July next year.
Got it. Okay. So what do you think I should do? Just close the file or follow or put it on the counter to call you then?
I mean, you could always call me in 8 months, because you'd want to jump ahead of me.
Yeah.
jump
Okay.
and ship. You know what I mean?
Can definitely do that. I appreciate that. I'll notate that, and then I'll give you a call then. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Yep.
He said, I got hundreds of calls. I believe it. I believe it for cold calls, cold call leads. Strange. Hello, Gary. Hello. Can't hear you. Can I call you back? Hello, Gary. You sound really muffly. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh, hey, Gary. How are you?
I'm good. Who are you?
Hey, good. My name is Max. I'm actually calling you because you had spoken to one of my team members about selling your property over at East 175th North.
That's 7925, 175 North.
Yeah, correct. You considering selling that one?
Yeah, if you want to give me what I want for it.
Which is?
Well, I had a realtor give me an appraisal on it, and he said it was worth 400,000.
Okay. And they were going to list it on the market for you for that price?
Yep.
Okay. And what stopped you from doing that?
I wasn't ready to move yet.
Oh, I see. Okay. What are you ready now, or is that still not the case?
No, we figured you'd probably put it through the realtor in about a month.
Okay. What's your if you got an offer, that came close to that, how soon would you feel comfortable selling?
Be right away, probably. Just give me time to get what I got left in here out of here. I already took 2 big truckloads out of here.
Okay. Okay. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions about the property? See if I can qualify it for an offer?
Okay, man. Table.
Okay, no problem.
I can get a list of stuff that's all in here and all that thing.
Yeah,
If I can
yeah.
find it.
Take your time.
Okay, so what's the question you want to ask me?
Yeah, no problem. Just I have some information in front of me from what I see online. Is the property a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom?
It sure is.
Okay, perfect. And then I see 1,672 square feet.
It's actually about 1,800 square feet.
Okay, let me make sure I'm
They
making a
got
note
that
of that.
wrong.
Yeah, and this is why I like to ask, get verification, because a lot of times these websites, they don't always are correct.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Majority of the time.
no, absolutely. And I do see you're sitting right around a 2-acre lot.
That's right.
Okay, 2-acre lot.
And I got probably a couple hundred pine trees planted out there.
You got what? 700 pine trees?
200, about 200, I think.
Jeez, that's a lot, man.
No, but they're worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah. What do you sell them, or they're just to make your property look better?
Well, no, I actually did it for a more wind break. Wind blows out here pretty good.
Oh, I see. That's smart.
And,
Yeah, that's smart.
and any wind coming out of the south going north, it blocks it off.
Mm-hmm. Did you plant those, or were they already there when you bought it?
No, I planted them. I didn't want to mow all that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well that helps. So you're saying that helps to slow down the wind when it comes in and breaks it up a little bit.
Yeah, and then we get a lot of wind from the north to the south too. But
Mm-hmm.
all I got there is a cornfield out there. It don't block the wind there, but it helps my neighbor really good. One neighbor there, he's dead now. And he, the trees got up, they were only like about a foot tall when I planted them. And they're like probably 30 feet tall now.
Yeah.
But he used to get snow blowed in all the time. He had a heck of a time. And after them growed up and us that they blocked it all, he never got blowed in again.
Wow.
So it really helped him.
Yeah. Okay. Now, no, that makes sense. And then this is your primary property, right? It's not a rental or an investment property.
No, it's primary property.
No problem. Okay, I appreciate you confirming that.
Anything that ever broke or anything that ever went wrong, we fixed it. And we probably changed about everything,
Yeah. Okay. And then when you do decide to sell the property, Gary, is there anyone else that's going to have an input that, to help you make the decision?
No. My wife.
Okay. Got it.
She makes all the decisions.
Smart man right there. No, same thing over here. No, and that's fair. I only ask that because, whenever someone is making a decision this big, there's often someone else whose input they at least want to hear or they might need, right? That's the only reason I'm asking. And just out of curiosity, ballpark, how long have you owned the property?
25 years.
25 years. That's a long time. What's changed recently that's got you thinking about selling now?
Well, I'm getting too old and it's getting hard to take care of it. I got to where I can't walk very good. And I'm going to go down and live closer to my kids.
Okay, that makes sense. Live closer to your
Yeah.
kids. Whereabouts does your kids live?
Colorado.
Colorado. You're going to another cold place.
Well, I'd rather be in a cold place than a goddamn place like this with humidity. That humidity really gets to me, man. I'll tell you, I'm gonna pick my wife up at the airport the other night and brother come with her. And we stopped to eat and we went into a Denny's and got it was cold in there. I didn't wear my coat in. And then walking back out to my car, man, I got shakes and it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh,
My wife says, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, this happens all the time. Stay cold." You know.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Now, I know you mentioned you've already you had an appraisal done, you've spoken with the real estate agent. What else have you tried recently to get the property sold?
Well, I haven't really tried anything. I've had several people call and want to buy it,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't want to come up to what I want to pay for it, you know.
Yeah.
I know if I buy it from like a person like you for cash, that I can go down, you
Right.
know, because I don't have to pay all that shit to a realtor.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, usually that's always the kind of the big question is, are you seeking to go more the convenience route, or do you feel comfortable going traditional where, you have to go through everything, right? Typically, if you have time and you're not in a rush, or, you're not, what I've seen in the past where people don't want to make repairs to the property, usually they select going with the, with the quick close option for the most part, which is a more convenient route, right? So I don't know if that's something you thought about, just because the difference is, yeah, you get convenience, but obviously the offers are always going to be a little bit more less than going with a real estate agent or listing it on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's something maybe.
Well, I got all the time in the world. I'm retired. I don't have to get no big area.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
All we need is enough time to get the last load out of here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now does that show I got a 30 by 30 metal building up there?
Oh, do you? Okay, I don't know if I saw that in the pictures or not. Let me see.
You probably look at the wrong picture.
Let me look here really quick. Yeah, usually when these programs online, they usually don't show the whole property because they usually don't they don't show the back or anything. Is it a workshop or is it storage? What is it?
It's a garage shop. I worked on my cars out there, lawnmowers and stuff like that.
Okay, I see.
And I got lights, all electricity all put through it. I got a cement floor in it. And the roof is insulated, the walls are.
Yeah, okay. Got it. And then I know you said you said something earlier about you got it appraised, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What did that come in at?
400,000.
400,000. Okay. And I'm assuming that's what you're hoping to get for it, the appraised value.
I would like to get that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
I've had houses look just like this. There's quite a few of them built that, and they have sold over 400,000, but they're just a little bit bigger than this house.
Right. What's like how much bigger, do you know?
I don't know. It's not that much, Now, I do have a sunroom. room. Well, actually, it's just a room out back with doors that have the windows in it. And it's about like 12 by 12. It's a nice little room. I can't close it. Get a lot of sun through the windows and tries to lay out there and keep warm on the back and little thing back there. Now, does that have my driveway being paved?
Yeah, I see that. Your driveway being paved, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that here online. Yeah.
Okay, now that's a big driveway.
Yeah.
We have two semi trucks parked beside each other. That one's
Mm-hmm. Okay. And they were.
and that the pavement goes up ground to the corner of the house, and it's gravel from there out to the shop.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. So that helps with
With
the.
weeds.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah, and so if let's just say that if you didn't have to pay anything out of pocket and it was an offer net to you, what's the lowest you feel comfortable selling?
Probably about 375.
375. Okay, got it. So 375,000 makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and then go ahead.
Oh, we put a new air conditioner in 2017. We put a new microwave and range in 1822. You want to know all that stuff?
Yeah, that was gonna be my next questions is about the property itself. Just having you kind of walk me from the front into the property to just describe what it looks like, and then that way I can get an idea. Can you do that for me and just tell me a little bit about what the outside looks like and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The front of the house, well, the house is brick.
Okay.
So then you walk in, there's like a porch on the front, and it's enclosed, but it's like, I forget how wide that was. I put the carpet on it too. But it's about 4 feet wide, and it goes by about 20 feet wide. Long,
Okay.
long. The width is 4 feet. And it's got all brand new windows.
Mm-hmm.
Just put them in 6/15/22.
6. Okay, so about maybe 3 years ago. That's not bad.
Yeah, not that long. They're buying the windows are not full of it. The ones we had here, they all rotted out because they were wood.
Mm-hmm.
The third house was probably built in 1995.
Yeah. Yeah, the year of the property is 1995, correct?
I believe so.
That's what I'm showing, but you know how that is.
Oh, my wife's busy with the guy that fixed the wire there. He knows I can get the information from her.
No, it's okay. I mean, when I'm seeing it in 3 different places, and I do see that the year is 1995, from what I'm looking at, anyways. Yeah. Okay, and then what about I'm assuming it doesn't have any foundation issues or anything like that?
No, it shattered a little bit.
Okay.
But I don't see no problem with they're all like that out here.
Yeah.
Anybody's got basements, they flood out every year.
Right. Okay.
That wouldn't have a basement.
No, that makes sense. And then what about has the flooring or the paint been updated inside or outside of the house?
Okay, I just had all new carpet put in the living room and 3 bedrooms.
Okay, how long ago was that?
It was there. See, you got me jumping around there.
It's okay.
This new carpet in 2024.
2024?
Yeah.
That's perfect. Okay. What about the paint and all that?
Paint is I always kept up on that when I was able. It's probably been 2 years ago since I painted that.
Okay.
I don't hire painters. They do it. And the rooms are all kind of a beige color.
Mm-hmm.
And then kitchen, I put all hardwood floors. And bed with a little hallway going into the 2 bedrooms and a bathroom here.
Right.
It's all real hardwood. It comes out there into the dining room, and then it goes all the way to the kitchen. There's a hallway that goes all the way back to the garage. And I get hardwood all the way there. And underneath the washer and dryer is also hardwood. And it's all the gun smoke, I think.
Okay.
And we put that in probably 10, 12 years ago, and it's still pretty good stuff. I got cats, and they don't even get a scratch. Boy, they love them. It's really comical.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. Perfect.
It's not a quiet floor.
Yeah, I see.
When I bought this place, the guy had carpet all the way to the kitchen, dining room, bathrooms. I mean, every square inch in here was carpet.
Okay.
I took all the carpet out. I took all the wallpaper, most of the wallpaper out. And, it looks good. Everybody likes it. And
well, that's good.
Would ever come.
Right.
Never been here.
Okay.
I know that really girl, when she came in and gave us the bracelet, she said, hell, I can sell this house in a week.
Yeah.
Right. Said, really?
And then
she keeps calling and wanting us to deal with her.
Right. And then I'm assuming you're going to have to pay commissions with her.
Well, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That's not assuming, that's a fact. They are not doing nothing.
Yeah, no, of course.
That's what I'm saying. You guys will get to save the commission if you buy it for cash.
Right.
I'm going to pay her no matter, if I hire her to sell it, I got to pay her, but I have no contract or anything with her.
Okay, got it. No, makes sense. Here's what I like to do. I got enough information now. I like to do a little bit more due diligence just because it's a unique property. And then what I like to do is give you a call back. What's your best times you're available, morning or afternoon?
I'm retired. I'm available about any time.
Okay. So if I called you,
one guy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
One guy told me I had too much time on my hands.
Really? He's probably just jealous. He's not retired yet.
I got into it good as my phone. My wife is comfortable.
Yeah.
So I did. Then she took over dealing with him.
Yeah. Okay.
It was over one of our windows. The windows, new windows are. Yeah. And nobody fighting about it. In fact, we're still fighting about it.
Right.
And they have done 2 or 3 different things. They're doing one more thing now. If they don't get it this time, I'm going to sue them.
Okay.
I think that's with them.
Right.
In fact, that's got to be fixed. I can't leave it like that. So,
makes sense. Well, here's what I'll do, Gary. I'm gonna do my due diligence on this, just to, now that I understand your goals as far as price wise and what you're trying to accomplish, and then I got enough information on the property condition and everything. It's a unique area, obviously, right? Franklin, Indiana. I mean, I want to see, what we would do with this in regards to renting it or flipping it, or sometimes what we do as well. Is we wholesale properties. I don't know if you're familiar with that. We have financial partners in the area that will pay a lot more in some cases, and we would just, have them, buy the property. And so we've done that as well too. So it just depends on the area. Like, we're a full real estate solutions company, so we have a lot of options on the table. We're not just like a one option type of shop, right? And if you're open to, go ahead.
There's another lady that's really interested in it too.
Okay.
But she wants to send somebody out here to look at it.
Yeah. So that's kind of similar. I work in a similar way, right? I'm very transparent, very open on how I do business. And So it just
Yeah.
depends on the area and what we're going to use the property for. And usually we use all the options on the table, if that makes sense. But I really want to do some due diligence just to make sure that, that we can get close to that asking price.
This isn't exactly right in Franklin.
No,
We're
I see
probably
that.
like
Yeah.
6 miles from Franklin.
Yeah, I see that. It's actually a little ways from Franklin, right?
Yeah, about 6 miles.
About 6 miles. Got it. Okay. Yeah, so I need to look at that because one of the things we always look at is what's the closest major city. Franklin seems to be a major city. I think they got a little bit more population, but so we look at all those details, and so that's why I want to do some more due diligence.
Well, you got Shelbyville the other direction.
Yep, Shelbyville. I see that, and so we're
Yeah,
go ahead.
we're right on the border of Shelbyville County.
Correct. Okay.
Now, my land is kind of different than most. It isn't a square. It's got 125 feet of road frontage over there, and then it comes over, and then it goes wider into the rest of it.
Okay.
There's a house on one side of me. It's only an acre now. That was the people that used to own this whole place. And then on the other side of me, that's a 2-acre lot, and that was the old homestead there.
Yeah.
They built a brand new house there a little bit. I'd say it'd probably go around 500,000-600,000.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I saw that one. Okay. Well, let me do this. I'll set up I'm going to put out my calendar to give you a call tomorrow. And then that way we can discuss and see where we're at with this. And then just give you a little bit of what we're seeing and what some options are. And maybe we can avoid you where you have to pay the commission and the fees and all that. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Sounds good, Gary. Thank you for the information.
I figure I might have to pay them all about 30,000.
Yeah, correct. So that's why I want to take consideration, based on your asking price and all that, just to make sure, and then see what options we have with this. Because like I said, right, we're a full real estate solutions company. Sometimes we wholesale some of these properties, and other options. So I want to see what's the best use for us. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
You bet. Bye.
Well, this is an interesting property. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. First of all, we're talking a population of 9,000 people, and then the next biggest town is Franklin. That's 23,000 people. So this is not going to be a cash deal based on what I'm seeing. Could be an ovation. It's a nice property. There's a lot of market. There's a lot of MLS activity, which is really good. But, it sounds like a great property from everything he described to me. The property sounds in really good condition, right? So I'm not worried about that. It's just want to make sure one of the things I look at is to make sure that we're not in long days on the market, because that can kill a deal. It doesn't matter how good it is. If there's long days on the market, then we just can't. I won't contract it, right? But the fact that he understands what I'm doing and he knows I put it on the table for him, I mean, that's all I need for now, right? Because now I can come back to him and say, look, I looked at, unfortunately, here's the only option. And so, unless we get it super cheap, we're talking, whatever it is after I do some due diligence on it, it's going to have to be it's going to have to be an innovation. There's no way around it. Right. Yeah. 23,000 population. And then that's Franklin. That's the next major city, but where he's at, it's only 9,000 people that live in that town from what I can see. Let me see. I'll tell you guys right now. Huh. Yeah. Not a lot of people there. Yeah, not a lot of people there, but I'm gonna see if I can do an ovation. I'll pick it up and give him. You know, obviously it's gonna help him because give him close to what he wants, and if it makes sense, right? 375 might be too high on this deal, but um, you know, we'll see. We'll see when I look at it. I think that once I look at it, there might be a potential deal here with that. So, guys, I did get a message that I gotta talk to. I gotta run and do something. So I'm gonna end the live here today. Remember, go back and watch this. There was a lot of nuggets dropped today. So I'm gonna end the live here today. Um, share this with someone. Make sure that you're liking, make sure that you're sharing this, and letting me know what you're getting out of it. Right? I love hearing the stories. I love hearing the testimonials. Like, hey, I was on the live. Here's what I got out of it. So basically, what I would do is, share this with someone. Let them know that you were here. I'm gonna jump off. I gotta go run and do something. I got a message that I gotta go and get something done. So I will. We were on here for 10, 11, 12. So not bad. 3 hours. That's pretty good. Pretty solid. We had some good conversations. Obviously, a lot of people weren't answering. So hopefully, once we start getting the PPC leads in, we will start to start to having a lot more conversations, locking up more deals, kind of like where we started. But definitely, I would say I really appreciate everyone for joining me today and being on the live. So go out there, continue crushing and finish the day strong. It's still early in the day. Go out there and get some more deals, get some stuff locked up, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So, oh no, not tomorrow. Sorry, Thursday. Remember, there's no deal lab tomorrow. So I'll see you guys Thursday. I'll send out a reminder to everyone through social media. If you don't follow me on on Instagram or anywhere else, that's where I usually post the reminders of the date of the show. So go out there, crush it. Remember, go out there and crush it. And I'll see you guys Thursday morning. See y'all later.